Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at Crocalor in the Evolution Cup. This Pokemon is kinda underrated, at least at the current time while I'm recording it during the Gold Battle Day. But I think I only encountered it like twice or something. But this Pokemon is absolutely insane for this current meta. Having access to Disarming Voice plus Crunch basically gives you coverage against the entire meta. And if you think about it, how many rock types do you really see? Maybe once in a while you see like something like an Alolan Graveler, but that's insanely rare already. And how many water type Pokemon are you going to encounter? There's like one that's really viable, and this is a Marshtomp, which a lot of people don't have built. And so basically, this Pokemon is completely free in the current meta. You think, oh yeah, still Incinerate going to be resisted by the Dragon type Pokemon. You have Disarming Voice on them. And so basically, this Pokemon is as good as Skeledirge in basically this cup here, which is kind of funny because like, yeah, it's very, very similar to Skeledirge, and Skeledirge is insanely strong currently in the Great as well as in the Ultra League since the Incinerate buff. And so I really enjoyed playing this Pokemon. It was a lot of fun. We have now a 2-shield scenario for Crocalor, and you see already how much damage this Pokemon is doing. Like Incinerate buffed against something like a Haunter is just absolutely madness. We see the Celio coming in, we can go for the Crunch, and this is even the cooler thing about this one as well. We have Crunch, we're gonna be able to get sometimes a defense drop, and this is going to change quite a few matchups. Also, you have very decent bulk on this Pokemon as well, so like you don't even have any kind of really weakness for this thing. This thing is just straight up very, very decent. You can put basically on every single team, and it should work out in the current meta. Let's move on to the next one. We're going to have the lead of the Broguiere. And usually I would just say, yeah, okay, go for the Night Session, you're going to be fine. But I guess maybe going for the Ice Punch might also not be the worst play. Here the opponent is going to use the shield, but if they don't use the shield, they actually still survive if you go for the Night Sash. So it's a little bit of a risky one. But if you go for the Night Sash, you can still get at least another shield or the opponent swapping out, which is also totally okay for us. We can still go ahead and go for a charge move. But I'm just staying in here to get some more damage onto them because like this, I put them into range for just one charge move from my Charger Bug or from my Crocalor, as well as I'm not giving up basically the switch that I have right now. So like if I encounter a bad Pokemon in the back, I can still swap out, and this is going to be great for us. So we're gonna get the knockout here. Let's see what's coming in next. It is going to be the opponent's. Let's find out. It's going to be the opponent's Arctibax. So I can go for a charge move, and because I'm not stuck in this matchup anymore, I can just swap out of here, get the shield, and I still have Disarming Voice, and Disarming Voice is still super effective against the opponent. They catching this move on the Broguiere does not really matter to me. This is totally fine. And almost they would have needed to go for one charge move anyway there. Even if they're gonna go for the Ice Event, I'm going to be totally okay with that. Dragon Claw coming through, totally okay. We can shield up the next move, should be just a Dragon Claw, right? But it is actually the Ice Event, which I did not expect that they had enough energy for this, but we can still go for the Disarming Voice, and we don't care because it's still going to be enough to knock them out. Moving on, Dusclops in the lead, a Pokemon that I don't really like to face. You could actually argue of going for Crunch on your Charger Bug, which would be super effective here, which would be a cool tech move. But the opponent catches the move onto a Broguiere on a completely weird random time as well, like it was already way over. Kinda mad, but at the end of the day, it does not really change too much here because, yeah, I can still get another move off. I would have knocked them out now, but like now I get just one more free Volt Switch in, and I'm totally okay with that. So goodbye Broguiere. They can go back into their Dusclops, but they have to go for a return in order to knock me out. Let's see what they're gonna go for. They're gonna go for the return. So I'm gonna be down there, but it's totally okay as I can go into my Crocalor, and I get the extra free fast move in, which I kind of really wanted to have here. Let's see what they're gonna go for. They're gonna go for the Shadow Punch. So they're not even running the Ice Punch, they're running return plus Shadow Punch, which I'm totally okay with. We're gonna get the Shadow Punch on us. We can go for another Crunch afterwards. And let's see what the opponent is going to try to do next, as they're going to let this move go through. We're going to encounter the Vigoroth in the back. I can go for a Crunch, trying to get the debuff, but at this point I was like, why do I not just swap out? And I just decided to swap out into my Primeape and easily win this game. There's nothing that the opponent can do about it. And honestly, this team was like so much fun to play. Usually for this team, Charger Bug is your safe swap, but I could actually see some cases, for example, if you're going to encounter something like a Golbat in the lead, which I don't think I actually encountered, but I might be wrong. I would rather go into the Crocalor. So like both of them are going to be great safe swaps in the current meta. It really depends on what you want to go for. Moving on, we're going to have a Piloswine in the lead, which is going to be great. But also, this is a cool thing as well. We actually see the Crocalor here, which is kind of funny. This was, I think, the first battle that I played with this team. And I completely, like, my brain was just not functioning here. It was, again, like, Go Battle Day. I had a lot of battles in already. I thought the entire time for Don't ask me why reason. Like, I thought the entire time that the opponent had a 4-turn fast move with Incinerate. Incinerate is 5 turns. I could have went for an extra counter there. It was so silly by me. So basically I miscounted. I would have had a way better matchup there, and I would have not even got the move of my Crocalor, which was honestly, like, this was so on me. I literally thought the entire time that the opponent had like 4 turns for Incinerate and was like so confused why the opponent snuck an extra fast move there. It just was me like being completely silly. So yeah, it is what it is. We're going to see here the opponent going for a charge move. Let's see what it's going to be. It is going to be the Shadow Punch, and so we can honestly, do you see the eye of the opponent's Pokemon? Like, as soon as you do a fast move animation, look at the eye there. Like, it goes normal all of a sudden. Like, that's kind of a weird bug. But we're gonna see here the Piloswine coming in. I think we might actually lose this game now because of this, but I would have been easily able to win this game if I just played it better in the beginning, and I didn't think that an Incinerate is a 4-turn move. So it is definitely on me here if we're gonna lose this one. And I'm fairly certain now that we are going to lose this one because they can go for the Stone Edge, which is going to knock us out now. And yeah, we don't get to our next move. So this was definitely something that I should have won if I didn't mess it up. So I would take this more as a sign that this team is still definitely very decent. Moving on to the next battle here, I was just confused for a little bit if this was actually sped up or not, but it looked like so not sped up, but I think it is sped up. So yeah, we're going to still take a look at this one. You're going to be able to knock out the opponent's Dragonair. In comes the Charger Bug, which is a Pokemon that I would have rather had my Crocalor aligned against, but the opponent allows me to actually go for a charge move here. Like, they should have went straight for the Exeter because it would have denied me the free fast move in and also denied me this charge move here. So definitely a mistake by the opponent to not go for the Exeter before I would do. But as they're gonna see, they're gonna go ahead and go for the Exeter now, and I can just take 2, I think. I'm just gonna be able to take the next one here as well. And we saw already, I win Steven Peter against the opponent, and so we're gonna be not able to get to a move because they're going to have the Dusclops in the back. And I try to get the shield from the opponent now as well, because we can use a shield here. We see now they have Shadow Punch as well, which I don't really understand for this Pokemon. I would not really recommend you to go for a Shadow Punch on this thing. Like, Poltergeist makes way more sense in my opinion, but we try to go for the CMP tie and it actually worked out amazingly now. So the opponent goes for not a shield, that's also okay for me. But we're gonna see that the opponent is gonna go for the Shadow Punch, and I can just go for the full farm down. They're still gonna get to another move most likely, but I don't really care too much because Crocalor just gonna get some super effective damage in the opponent's Charger Bug now, and I think I can just farm them all the way down. I don't think that the opponent can really do here anything. And so this charge is coming through. Can we farm them down? It's 1 HP, but I can still reach the farm down there. And so we're just gonna go for 2 crunches here, and that's going to be it for this game. Let's move on to the next one. Next opponent, Celio in the lead. It's going to be great. We have 2 Pokemon that answer Celio, so I don't really care too much about the lead here. And maybe I should have actually, yeah, done this as well then and not used a shield next, which I'm going to do. Because actually the Celio can win this one in the Zero Shield scenario, the normal variant, not the Shadow variant. If you don't have Cross Chop, I don't have Cross Chop here, so they can just go for 2 Body Slams back to back, and so they can basically get a shield advantage here, but it's going to be okay for me because I can still at least get a charge move off. And this can be a little bit tricky here because the opponent actually has the Hakoma-O against us, and so I decided to swap out into my Crocalor here to try to get some damage in with my Incinerate. They're gonna go for their own charge move. I know that I can still take one. I know that I still have my Disarming Voice, and so I'm gonna go straight for the Disarming Voice here to at least get the shield before the opponent goes for the next charge move. This is going to get the shield from the opponent, and we don't get to another one, which is a little bit annoying. So I'm forced to go into my Charger Bug. I can let this next move go through as well, but we're still in a really tricky spot depending on what they have in the back. It is going to be the Dusclops, and they're going to have the Feint Attack as a fast move, which is going to be very tricky to deal with. Let's see what we can do here. We can still get the Discharge off, but yeah, we're gonna swap out here, trying to catch a move on the Primeape. Didn't work out, but we can still actually survive the fast move because it is resisted, and we can still reach a Night Slash, which is going to force the shield from the opponent. They're gonna go ahead and use their own charge move here. It's going to be just the Ice Punch. They have a ton of energy stored, most likely very close to a return. So I'm forced to go for the Discharge, and it's not enough. And so we never mind, we are not losing this game. We can still go for the farm down and win this game with our Charger Bug. Next opponent, LilyNiRiain in the lead. I like to see this one as they swap out into the Nidorina. I did not really know what I wanted to do at this point. I just know that I kind of want to get rid of my Charger Bug because Charger Bug is not going to be great against the opponent's lead there of LilyNiRiain. as they have Rock Slide, and yeah, it's still a little bit of a tricky matchup. I know that both of my other Pokemon are going to be fine, because Metal Claw is actually resisted by the Fire typing, which is great, and so we're going to have a decent time as long as we're gonna get rid of that Nidorina. So I'm going to try to do exactly this immediately, as we can go for the Discharge and gonna get them low. I should not use a shield here, and I decide to go ahead and not use a shield, which I feel like is the best play to go for, because now I can get more energy now here at this point basically, and I can see what they have in the back. It is going to be their own Primeape, and this is actually a little bit bad, because now I'm forced to go for an Ice Punch, I'm forced to go for the Night Slash bait, and they're gonna still have their Lairon lurking in the back, and I'm a little bit scared, and they let this move actually go through, which I found a little bit awkward for me, because I was thinking they would use a shield. And so they still have 2 shields left, but the cool thing here is I do more damage here than the opponent, as well as I'm gonna generate energy way faster, plus my fast move is neutral, their fast move is resisted. Of course, they would have access to the move Rock Slide, but I don't even have to risk anything here. Body Slam is a little bit cheaper than Rock Slide, but I can just go for the shields no matter what they want to do, because I'm fairly certain, like, as long as I'm going to keep my Crocalor like healthy, I should be kind of fine here. The opponent has still 1 HP left. They are going to stay in here, and we decide to just go for the fast move down at this point, as the opponent gonna go for the Night Slash. I can swap out, get the counter in, and there's going to be game. Very fast battle so far, which is really cool for this team as well. Horrific lead, what we're gonna do here, we could decide to go for 6 fast move or 5 fast moves. Here I decided to go for 6, which might be a little bit of an issue, because they're gonna go for the charge move after 1 extra fast move, which is going to be, of course, now the extra, and they can also outspeed me to the next one, as they also win the CMP tie, so that's not going to be great for me. They actually have the shiny one, I have the non-shiny one, so they're always going to win CMP, because shinies do more damage, of course. We're gonna get the extra off, but they can now swap out into their Vigoroth, but we can still at least hit another extra, which gives me a little bit more hope for this matchup. I know that the Night Slash is not going to be enough from my Vigoroth, not from my Vigoroth, from my Primeape here, so I'm going to be forced to go for the full farm down, which I think I should be able to do here. Let's see. Never mind, I'm still gonna go for a charge move. The opponent goes for their own shield here as well, which is going to be tricky, because now I'm forced to use another shield as well. They're gonna go for their Body Slam. I'm gonna just try to farm them down and swap into my Crocalor when they go back into their own Charger Bug. Let's see what they're gonna decide to do here. They're exactly gonna go into that Charger Bug, and in comes now the Primeape. This game is not over yet, but it's definitely not going to be very easy for us to win. Cross Chop is going to do more damage. I don't like Cross Chop. It's so annoying to battle against people with Cross Chop on this Pokemon. Definitely, in some scenarios, the better choice for them. Here, I know I have great IVs on my Primeape, and again, IVs kind of really killed a lot of games recently for me in those cups where you encounter the same Pokemon all over again. Next opponent, we're going to have another horrific lead, and we decide to swap out this time around into Crocalor, because Crocalor, which is going to be able to, yeah, still resist the fast move. They still have super effective ancient power, which I can definitely deal with, but they decide to swap out into most likely their worst possible Pokemon ever, because they are double weak to Disarming Voice, and so they're going to have to use 2 shields in order to keep their Pokemon alive. Don't know why they did this. They could have stayed in and had a little bit of a better play, but I'm definitely going to take it. I still have to use 1 shield here in order to realign, but I'm totally okay with it, because then I'm gonna be able to put my Charger Bug up against the opponent's Togetic, and I can see what they have in the back, as I'm gonna still end up with a shield advantage. I can go for the Ice Punch here. The Ice Punch is going to be easily enough to knock them out, and let's see what they're going to have in the back. We're gonna see most likely coming in again the opponent's Fairy-type Pokemon here of the Togetic, and they're going to have the Vigoroth in the back, and this is a matchup where I don't even think that they're gonna get to a charge move, because I should have 1 fast move advantage. Like, they're not gonna get to 2 Body Slams, so I mean here. But let's take a look at this. They're gonna go for their first move. It's going to be the Body Slam. It is going to be fine, because we outspeed them just barely with the next one. I know I can take ancient power from the opponent as well, and this is going to be game, because yeah, the fast move is resisted, and I can just take this ancient power, go for Discharge, and this is going to be a very good game, as there is not a lot that they can do about it, and this is gonna get the knockout now. So let's move on to the final one for today. I actually cut out a lot of wins for this team as well. Like, this team was literally winning most of the battles where I didn't screw it up myself, so definitely a really solid one to play. We see the Dusclops here. Dusclops is going to be a little bit of a trickier one for the lead, but they swap out into the Vigoroth, which I can definitely take a little bit more. And honestly, for me as a Charger Bug user, it is usually a little bit more worth it to just use a shield here now, go for my own X's again, try to turn down the switch clock a little bit. Maybe I can swap out into my own a Primeape or whatever eventually. Let's see what we can do here. The opponent going to use a shield. I try to swap out and I cannot. Could have decided to most likely even farm them down, which might have been a smart move to go for, but I rather want to try to go up to the Night Slash against the opponent's Ghost type. Let's see what they're gonna try to do here against me. Ghost type is coming back in. They're gonna go for the charge move. Do they have Ice Punch? Do they have Shadow Punch? We will find out shortly. They have Ice Punch, which is better for us, because it is going to be better for our other Pokemon, for our Crocalor, which is gonna get the resistance against ice. So I decided to let this move go through, hoping that's not going to be Shadow Punch. It is going to be Shadow Punch, so they're actually running Double Punch, which is fine for me as I have the Disarming Voice now for the opponent's Primeape. This should get the knockout against them as well, and so we can win this final game. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.